The old Blackwood Manor stood on a hill, its silhouette dark against the moonlit sky. Overlooking the town, it was a decaying, ominous presence that seemed to watch over everything. Adair brought Michael to its iron gates. Adair he was beginning to regret as he stood there, heart pounding. The wind howled like a banshee, its icy fingers whipping through the trees. Their branches scraped against the mansion's stone walls, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Lightning flashed, illuminating the house for a brief moment. It seemed to leer at him, its windows like eyes watching his every move. He pushed the gates open, the rusty hinges groaning in protest, as if warning him to stay away. Each step toward the house felt heavier than the last. It was as if the house itself was trying to keep him out, its presence growing more oppressive with each passing second. He reached the front door. The wood was rotted, and the brass knocker was shaped like a snarling wolf, its eyes gleaming in the dim light. He hesitated, then knocked. The sound echoed through the silence, loud and out of place, as if the house itself was holding its breath. The door creaked open, its sound echoing through the empty hallways, as if inviting him in, beckoning him to uncover its secrets. The stench hit him first must and decay, like something had died inside. The air was thick, almost suffocating. He stepped into the foyer, his footsteps stirring up clouds of dust. Dust-covered furniture and cobwebs greeted him, remnants of a life long forgotten. He heard whispers, faint and indistinct, like echoes of the past. They seemed to come from the walls themselves, as if the house was alive. He shook his head, trying to dismiss them, convincing himself it was just his imagination. It was just the wind, he told himself, though doubt lingered in his mind. He wandered through the rooms, each step taking him deeper into the house's history. A grand dining room with a table set for a feast that never came, a silent testament to forgotten times. A library with shelves of leather-bound books, their pages brittle with age, holding stories that may never be read again. A nursery with a rocking chair swaying gently, as if pushed by an unseen hand, a ghostly reminder of a child's laughter. He felt a cold spot. It settled over him, sending shivers down his spine. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. He could have sworn he heard his name, whispered by the shadows, as if the house itself was calling to him. Days turned into nights, each colder than the last. Michael couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat. Every creak of the floorboard sent shivers down his spine. He tried to leave. The front door wouldn't budge. It was as if the house had locked him in. He was trapped. He was a prisoner in his own nightmare. One night he saw it, a fleeting glimpse of a figure at the end of the hall. Tall and gaunt, its eyes glowed with an eerie red light. He blinked and it was gone. He felt a presence now, malicious. He was no longer alone in the Blackwood Manor. Section 4. The Figure in the Darkness. He saw the figure more often now, always at the edge of his vision, always watching. He tried to rationalize it, to explain it away, but deep down he knew. Something was terribly wrong. The whispers grew into screams. Agony and despair echoed through the halls. He felt a hand on his shoulder, cold and skeletal. He spun around. No one. He was losing his mind. He could feel it slipping away. The house was consuming him. He had to escape. He ran to the attic. A single window offered a glimmer of hope. He threw it open, but instead of the sweet relief of escape, he saw something far more terrifying. The attic was filled with objects from the mansion's past. Faded photographs, antique toys, and relics of a bygone era. Each item seemed to whisper secrets of the lives once lived within these walls. The air was thick with dust and memories, creating an eerie atmosphere that sent shivers down Michael's spine. And a rocking horse with chipped paint. He saw a name scrawled on the wall in what looked like blood. Blackwood. The whispers reached a fever pitch. He turned to see the figure standing before him. It was no longer a fleeting glimpse. It was real, solid, terrifying. The figure spoke. Its voice was a guttural rasp. It told a tale of betrayal, of madness, and of a family murdered within these very walls. It told of a father driven to insanity by grief, who had taken revenge on his own family. The figure raised its hand, revealing a blood-stained knife. It lunged. Michael screamed. He was trapped in a nightmare he couldn't wake up from. Forever bound to the Blackwood Manor and its blood-stained past. The figure's eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and Michael felt a cold hand grip his heart. He knew then that he was not just a visitor in this haunted place, he was a part of its dark history. A history that would never let him go.